A key component of the modern world economy, the chemical industry delivers products and innovations to enhance everyday life. It is also an industry in transformation, where chemical executives and workers are delivering growth and industry-changing advancements while responding to pressures from investors, regulators, and public opinion. Discover how leading companies are approaching these challenges here on The Chemical Show. Join Victoria Meyer, president of Progressio Global and host of The Chemical Show, as she speaks with executives across the industry and learns how they are leading their companies to grow, transform, and push industry boundaries on all frontiers. Here's your host, Victoria Meyer.
Hi, this is Victoria Meyer. Welcome back to The Chemical Show. Whether you're a loyal listener or if this is your first time, welcome. We're glad to have you here. And if you don't currently subscribe, go into your favorite podcast player and either hit the subscribe button or follow the show. And that'll make sure that you get every episode right when it gets published. We also love ratings and reviews. They help more people find the podcast. So take a few seconds and leave a rating. 5-star, we hope. Today, I have the opportunity of speaking with Anton Zhloba, who is an application technology center leader with Jungbunzlauer. His focus is developing applications and exploring new business opportunities where JBL's sustainable ingredients can make a difference. Over his career, he's worked in a variety of industries, including food and beverage, pharma, biotech, and cosmetics in both Europe and in the US. So he brings that to JBL, and he's going to bring that perspective here today to The Chemical Show. Anton, welcome to The Chemical Show.
Thank you, Victoria. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So tell me, what's your origin story? How did you get interested in chemistry and chemicals, and what brought you to Jungbunzlauer?
So yeah, I was born and raised in Russia, actually, and I'm coming from a scientific family. So my father was a scientist. He was a biologist focusing on DNA investigation and chromosome reparations using radiation. So,
interesting.
From the early childhood, I was exposed to all different, like his publications. He was traveling in the early 90s, late 80s, and he was explaining me. I was probably very little to understand all the things, but I still got exposed to his rhythm and to the essence of his scientific work. So I always got curious when he explained to me all the complication about the human cells and how living organisms function. So I was always fascinated about that, and also chemistry from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like when I learned that everything's consisting of different atoms and molecules, I got so fascinated, and that was my real big focus in school.
That's awesome. And then you've worked in the industry, in different parts of the industry, for a number of years. Mm-hmm. What brought you to Jungbunzlauer?
Jungbunzlauer got my attention early on because perhaps it stands out as one of the few companies that has such a huge sustainability focus. And I had a lot of resonance with the products Jungbunzlauer, or we also go by GBL produces, because I've always been a consumer of those products on a daily basis. I'd say, who doesn't know about citric acid, right?
So when I first heard about and got introduced to Jungbunzlauer, I frankly made an assumption that it was solely a European company. It sounds like a European company, yet obviously you're here in the US and you have a global presence. Can you talk more about the company and just where it's located and what the shape of it looks like today?
Yeah, so the company is actually headquartered in Basel, Switzerland, and we have a European origin. So we all started in village of Jungbunzlauer, which is in Bohemia. So it's now a non-existing country, not part of Czech Republic. So and current company has no connection to that place. So it's just a place of our origin. So what Jungbunzlauer means that it's somebody from that village, from village of Jungbunzlauer. And then the company grew quite a good pace over the last probably 50 years. So we now have this global reach, and we really present on all the markets all around the globe, either ourselves or through distribution. So, but we still heavily focused on European and not European, Western markets, let's say.
Got it.
Because Europe is about 50% of our target market, like of our business, and North America is about 33% as of now. So, which is, so as you can conclude, so it's heavily focused on European markets, but we still have presence also in Latin America, and it's growing, and also Asian Pacific markets as well.
Is a big part of your competition coming from China, or do you see more local competition? Because I know you guys have pretty heavy manufacturing presence in North America as well as in Europe.
So we do have also a manufacturing in Colborne in Canada. Currently, it's our only North American site, and also we have 4 plants in Europe. So overall, we do see some competition. Both, so it's actually a mixture of both Asian competitors and European competitors, also local competitors on the North American market. So I would say it's a good mixture. Okay. But it's good. We like it the way it is. I think this competition helps us grow. Absolutely.
And so tell us more about what do they produce, and where do the applications for what Jungbunzlauer does?
So we make everything through fermentation. So everything comes from renewable feedstocks, and we ferment and then downstream modify different products. In total, we produce 7 different product groups, including citrics, glucanates, lactics, sweeteners, biogums. We also modify these products and make also specialties and special salts that also go into different ingredients. And again, like everything's bio-based and biodegradable, very versatile. Like 90% of what we make, it's edible. So
interesting. And it started that way, right? I mean, because it's an old company. It's, when I look back at its history, 150 years old. So has this history of always being bio-based.
Absolutely, we've always been bio-based. We've always been a family-owned company, even though we switched ownership during our history. But we've always been focusing on fermentation, bio-based. We used to make ethanol, like through fermentation, from very beginning. And then I believe we acquired the first citric acid production. It was in mid last century, and that's how we became like one of the dominant Western suppliers of citric acid, and we expanded from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. So getting back to citric acid and fermentation. So what's actually the feedstock of this? Because I think, people in the industry maybe know more about it. Others might think citric and think citrus fruits, and yet I don't think you're growing a lot of oranges in Canada. So how do you get to the products?
So there's a story, and actually that's if you calculate, so there would be never would be enough citrus fruits to squeeze to produce enough citric acid,
right,
to fill all the demand in the world. So we use renewable feedstocks, meaning corn. Then we process corn and then just feed it into fermentation with our proprietary strains, where we make and then downstream purify our products that are purely made through fermentation. But yes, source material feedstock is corn.
Okay, awesome. Who are your typical customers? So you're hitting, obviously, with the product slate, you're going into a wide variety of areas.
So most of the products we sell into food. It's
okay,
because of the nature of the product, it fits really well. But also non-food areas are growing rapidly as well. So we have a great presence in cosmetics and personal care as well. We supply into home industrial applications like cleaners, we supply into, we have some business in construction as well. So actually in case application paints and coatings. So yeah, it's a whole variety of different applications because products that we make are very versatile, can be used.
We'll be right back. At Ecovist, they're accelerating the transition to a sustainability-driven future. Their long history of innovation, expertise, and customer collaboration supports the development of proprietary catalysts and services across their two industry-leading businesses, Advanced Materials and Catalysts and Eco Services. Advanced Materials and Catalysts is a leader in proprietary and customized technologies for polymers, cleaner fuels, emissions control, and circularity. Eco Services is the largest North American recycler of spent sulfuric acid. Ecovist, your catalyst for positive change.
Anywhere.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so obviously, and your focus right now is innovation and application development. So what is it? What are you looking for when you start on this path? What does that mean to you? And how do you even identify where you're taking these products?
So for innovation and application technology, then that I'm overseeing for North America and also actually market development as well. Yeah. So the most important is to find new niches for existing products and find new markets and also expand the markets to see how our products can make a difference, and where they can excel in different applications. Because some products and some applications are very traditional. They're still very focused on known chemistries and known ways of doing things. So we try to innovate and bring new applications and innovation on board. Recently, we did a lot of studies on the packaging and water reduction on concentrated formats, for example, for cleaners. We also look into how we can substitute different products and how we can formulate more sustainable personal care products. So that's just some of the examples of application development that we do.
Where does it start? Does it usually start with a customer coming to you, or does it start where you see consumer trends or a problem in the market? How do you even know where to begin?
Yeah, so actually it goes both ways. So we do quite a lot of pioneering ourselves, as we also want to trailblaze the industry and show the example how sort of things can be done and where we can help. Also, some start with customer requests. So, for example, if we have, let's say, a meeting, or we got a lot of good relationships with industries we work with, we also get a lot of requests like what needs to be improved or changed, or whether it's like a functionality of our existing product or a completely new functionality that we need to bring on board.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think, a lot of companies, there's a lot of innovation going on right now in chemicals, and certainly in the bio space, right? So you guys have been in bio forever. There's a lot of new entrants into the market that are really growing their position really to respond to the whole sustainability trend and just where we're going from a industry perspective. And yet I think some of the challenges end up being the same, right? In terms of when you are bringing a new product to the market, can be challenging to really find the fit and the customers and bringing that to the table. Is that where the biggest challenge is? Is it in the customers? Is it in regulations? So I guess what are the challenges and how do you overcome them?
So with a lot of things we do, actually, it's not like just completely bringing new product to the market. A lot of things we do is a market expansion. So we already know about some certain functionalities, and chemistry is chemistry, right? So some things, let's say in personal care, or a certain ingredient has certain properties. Let's say in beverages, it's going to work same way in cosmetics.
Yeah,
like citric acid. So we a lot of times market expansion, it eliminates some of this uncertainty. We also sometimes do product expansion that might get a little bit challenging, but again, we rely a lot on our existing relationships and customers and their feedback. When it's completely new market, a new product, it's even more challenging, but probably that's the most exciting task we can get, because that's completely a true innovation where you can completely develop some new type of business and help someone.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, and I know you've spent actually quite a large part of your career in sales, more in the sales side than in the technical chemistry side. I think of sales often tends to be a bit more short-term focused and a bit tactical, and yet product and application development can be longer term, right? Because it takes longer to prove it out, to run the course, run the experiments, develop what it is. How do you navigate those differences? Because even today, it seems like your role actually bridges both.
Yeah, it actually does, and it's a great synergy. I think of both my backgrounds in chemistry and also in science, so that like I know sales sometimes can get more tactical, and it has its own kick. Like when you're fostering great relationships with customers and you see your numbers going well. But at the same time, when you focus on application development, I think you can bring a completely different level of meaning to the table when you can actually help to solve some kind of, let's say, an application mystery when something's not working, let's say, on the processing side with the customer, or let's say you introduce something that somebody was, like an application that somebody was not aware of, and you still kind of feel like you're a salesperson, because exactly you that's what you do. You're selling someone.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a relationship business, right? I mean, I think as you've referenced, developing these relationships is a big part of the success.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that, you started talking about sustainability as one of the core values of JBL and what brought you there. And obviously, I think there's aspects of the chemical industry that have been very sustainable for a long time. We didn't necessarily recognize it as sustainable, but it's been there. But how does JBL engage with its customers, et cetera, around sustainability? Do you guys track specific sustainability metrics? How do you engage to make sure that people have that story?
It's kind of, I would say, a cross-pollination with us and with customers. So we also listen attentively to the feedback we're getting.
Yeah.
And we also try to be a pioneers on the sustainability side. So, for example, we have a few pillars that we focus on, including the sustainability. If you're speaking mostly about environmental sustainability, okay. So it's reduction, it's water reduction, it's certain goals about reduction in carbon emissions. So we track our carbon footprints. We're also committed to science-based targets per Paris Agreement. So we aiming to meet the goal of this SBTI, science-based targets, and some of our information that we share on sustainability is actually protected by NDA, but we definitely willingly share with everyone who's willing to enter the NDA with our customers and show like our success with bringing down the carbon emissions for different product groups.
Got it. Makes sense. And obviously, as a privately held company, you're not, you don't have to do the same kind of reporting. So you guys do it under NDA, just with specific customers.
Correct. Yeah. Some of the previous year's reports, they are available just on our website, so they're not held back. But the recent ones, they will be available under NDA. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're from Russia. You spent most of your career in Europe, and you've now been based out of the US for several years.
Mm-hmm.
Is business different here versus in Europe? I guess it's kind of a 2-question thing. Is business different, and is sustainability different across the pond?
Business is different, and I cannot say Russia is the most advanced country in terms of, let's say, recycling. But I think it's still a little bit ahead from what we have here in the US currently. And definitely Europe. And I worked a lot in different like Europe and with different European offices. Work closely now with Germany with our headquarters, Basel. So Europe is way ahead currently with how they approach sustainability, with regulatory requirements, and also with in the general the mindset of people, how people approach sustainability. So I think that's something where we can grow here in the US as well.
Yeah.
We just try to set the standard.
Yeah, it is. It is definitely I think definitely a different approach and different drivers in some respects to why it is what it is. Awesome. So what's next for you and for Jungbunzlauer? What are you focused on today and where are you going next?
Actually, very ambitious plans we got. So we are building a completely new application technology center here in Chicago. It's going to be in Rosemont. So we'll be expanding on our application development, and the future for us is just growth, as we can see, because sustainability and bio-based, biodegradable ingredients, they come more and more into play in different industries, and we want to be really living this sustainable life. I guess it's overall aspiration of people and the North American US society.
Yeah.
So we just want to help with that and bring more value to the table. That's why we're so heavily investing in application technology, in new products, and new applications.
Awesome. That's great. Well, thank you for joining us today. I've appreciated getting to know you and getting to know more about JBL.
Thank you, Victoria. And thank you to all the listeners.
Absolutely. And thanks everyone for joining us on the Chemical Show today.
We've come to the end of today's podcast. We hope you enjoyed your time with us and want to learn more. Simply visit thechemicalshow.com for additional information and helpful resources. Join us again next time here on The Chemical Show with Victoria Meyer.